In modern English, the words may and might seem to roll along exactly the same path. We use them interchangeably in casual conversation, but push them into specific grammatical corners and their meanings sharply diverge. Open a standard grammar textbook and you will likely find a very simple rule. Might is exclusively the past tense form of the verb may. That definition is obsolete. Listen to native speakers today, and you will hear both words operating seamlessly in the present and future tense. This diagram establishes our baseline test. On the left, we have I may go to Ireland. On the right, I might go to Ireland. Both are placed over a probability gradient scaling from 0 to 100%. To a native speaker, these sentences are not identical. Swapping may for might mathematically drops the probability of that trip actually happening. Mastering English modality requires abandoning the chronological past tense rule. Instead, we have to map exactly how these two words interact with probability, continuous time, and unreality. When expressing possibility in the present or future, we use a baseline formula for epistemic probability, the calculation of how likely a statement is to be true based on what we know. This diagram visualizes a classic epistemic test. On the left, it may rain today registers at a 70% gauge next to a dark cloud. On the right, it might rain today registers at a 15% gauge under a clear sky. The may condition implies a strong likelihood. It signals to the listener that the speaker possesses visual or contextual evidence, like seeing storm clouds gathering on the horizon. The might condition strips away that evidence. It implies a remote, weaker, or purely theoretical possibility, formulated without any immediate proof. We can run a rapid analysis of the negative forms by adding not. The structural logic dictating probability holds steady. Saying, "it may not rain," retains high probability of a negative outcome. Saying, "it might not rain," implies a remote chance of staying dry. Even when negated, the proportional gap in likelihood between the two words remains perfectly intact. In present and future contexts, the choice between may and might is a calculation of epistemic probability, independent of chronological time. We apply this exact same probability calculation to actions that are ongoing or unfixed in the future. This timeline models an upcoming evening, isolating a specific highlighted block at 8:30 p.m. We will use the continuous modal formula, modal plus be plus an ing verb. A definitive future plan, such as I will be watching the football match, occupies this space as a solid, locked-in block over that exact time slot. But if we apply the speculative structure, I might be watching the football on TV, that block becomes fluid and semi-transparent. It is no longer a fixed event. By inserting the modal verb into the present continuous structure, we inject specific uncertainty into what would otherwise be a stated fact. This continuous modal structure is an essential conversational tool. It allows a speaker to articulate tentative plans without firmly committing them to reality. Now we reverse our temporal focus entirely and evaluate past events. To construct past uncertainty, we use a specific formula, modal plus have plus the past participle. This reference image demonstrates an unknown past scenario. In section B, we see a mystery regarding a person named Kate, answered with the guess she may have been asleep. Because Kate's actual state in that moment is a mystery, replacing may with might creates virtually no difference in meaning. Both words simply represent a guess about a blind spot in the past. The rules change dramatically when we leave behind the unknown past and analyze what linguists call the unrealized past. This diagram maps an event that had the potential to happen but definitively did not. A child was in danger of drowning but survived. The timeline branches into two paths, reality and the counterfactual. We plot the reality path first. The child was in danger, but their safety is now a verified fact. Next, we plot the counterfactual path. The phrase, "he might have drowned," locks firmly onto this alternate reality branch. If we attempt to use "he may have drowned" here, we trigger a strict grammatical error. Using may in this context is dangerous. It accidentally implies the speaker does not actually know if the child is currently alive or dead. Might allows the speaker to acknowledge a past lethal danger while simultaneously confirming that the danger was avoided. This establishes an absolute grammatical rule. If a past event is a counterfactual, meaning it had the potential to happen but definitively did not, might have is the only acceptable choice. We find similar mechanical limits when moving from positive speculation about the past to negative deduction. This technical source image details the negative limits of possibility. Section C provides a direct comparison between the phrases, "Sarah couldn't have got my message," and "Sarah might not have got my message." The couldn't have parameter defines absolute 0% impossibility. The door to that reality is entirely closed. The might not have parameter preserves a margin of uncertainty. It leaves the door of possibility slightly ajar. While could and might behave similarly as positive guesses, their negative forms are structural opposites, representing absolute denial versus lingering uncertainty. Stepping back from granular sentence rules, we can view the overarching semantic system at work. This 2x2 modality matrix serves as our final structural map. The vertical y-axis measures probability, from low to high. The horizontal x-axis moves from the real or unknown world to the counterfactual or unreal world. We lock may firmly into the quadrants representing high probability and the real or unknown world. We lock might firmly into the quadrants representing low probability and the counterfactual or unreal world. This brings us to the ultimate grammatical test, pure conditional unreality. Take the sentence, "If I won the lottery, I might buy a yacht." Because this scenario is entirely imaginary, may is completely barred from being used. Might commands a strict monopoly over the imaginary. The distinction between may and might has nothing to do with grammatical tense. They define the boundaries between what is real, what is possible, and what exists only in our imagination.